So odd that Shepard would think I would know something about Twinkies. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavito. This is Your World. And here's how nervous Republicans are getting about a contested convention. And that's all a post-Wisconsin phenomenon, right? They were meeting about it yesterday in Washington before we even had the Wisconsin results. A who's who of all the major party candidates gathering just to sort of, I guess, set out the ground rules. But can you imagine if they were to re-meet today? CPAC Chairman Matt Schlapp was among those at this RNC meeting. He joins us right now. Matt, good to have you as always. Spill the beans. What did you talk about?
Well, let's face it. We might have a convention the likes of we've not seen for 50 years, certainly not since 1976 when Reagan and Ford went at it. So people want to know, what are the rules? How will this go down? What if no candidate has the minimum number of delegates?
Well, what did you decide? I mean, the one argument I've heard from the Trump people is close is good enough. In other words, he might not be at 1237, but the number you need to be the nominee. But if he's got a big enough lead and he has the most, just give it to him.
Yeah, that's right. But, I mean, look, Eisenhower, Ford, previous Republican nominees, they've all had to get at least one more vote than 50% of the delegates.
So that's out. That is out as a possibility. With the Trump representative there, did he or she agree?
There was a representative from all the campaigns there. This wasn't a meeting to make decisions. I'm certainly not involved. I don't work for the RNC.
I understand.
It was a meeting where people who have concerns could ask their questions and get answers. And here, you know what the answer to that is, Neil? The Rules Committee, they're going to be able to make the rules as they see fit for this convention, but they can't change any rule or make any rule without the entire convention agreeing to those rules changes. So if we get 4, 5, 6 rounds of voting, you could see the rules change going forward, but it'll be the Democratic will of the entire convention at that point.
When you say the entire convention, who? All the delegates or the...
All the delegates. All the delegates.
So 2,400 some odd delegates then would have to agree on these rules changes?
Or a majority of that, right? They would take a majority vote. So for all the Cruz and Trump people that are worried that there might be a group of delegates that try to pass rules that would be unfavorable to the more conservative candidates, the only thing I would say back to them is, look, between Trump and Cruz, they have won most of these states. They should have close allegiances with the delegates that come from those delegations. They should be in a position where they have a lot of allies in this process, and I don't think they should be as worried about the rules being skewed against them if they handle this right.
But you know how these campaigns go now. Right now, between Trump and Cruz, that's 80% of the delegates awarded thus far.
That's right.
So was it those campaigns understanding that one of them would get the nomination, or if it went to multiple ballots, were they afraid, or did they signal we would not like an outsider coming in and being a consensus choice?
They do not. It will not shock you, Neil, to know that both the Cruz, Trump, and Kasich campaigns believe that no outsider should be able to enter this process, that you ought to be a candidate who's currently running to be considered. That being said, there are a lot of questions that all Republicans have. You know, what happens if we go several rounds of voting into this? Usually, what history shows us is that the person who gets the nomination wraps it up in that first vote. What if that doesn't happen in Cleveland?
But all bets are off after that, and sometimes when it goes beyond 3 ballots, it generally is an outsider. Not all the time, but many times to whom the party tries to rally. Could you, this is just a gut call on your part as someone who sat in on that meeting, was it your sense that that is a possibility and that the party could get its arms around that, though not happily?
I think there's a lot of people, certainly in New York and Washington, who are GOP insiders, who are looking for every way to not have Cruz and to not have Trump. They just, you know, if you look at the exit polls from Wisconsin, there's a sizable group of those voters who said they would neither vote for Trump or Cruz in a general election. But look, the 80% of the party, 2/3 of the party, they want either a Trump or a Cruz. It's the explicit message they are sending. I think if we insert somebody from outside into this process, even if we've had several rounds of votes, Neil, I think all hell is going to break loose. I think it'll be very bad for the party, and I would worry that we couldn't pull it back together again.
We shall see, but the drama ensues. Matt, thank you very much.
Thanks, Neil.